Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, field marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? Welcome to the fourth Saturday in October, but the nickname given to the Alabama-Tennessee or Tennessee-Alabama rivalry this weekend is the third Saturday in October. Ain't much of a rivalry when Bama beats you 13 straight years. More on this year's showdown in a few. And this weekend also marks the return of the Big Ten getting back on the gridiron. Ready to get to the picks? I thought so. Grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Virginia Tech at Wake Forest. Hokie Bird and the Deacon assemble at Truist for a late October laissez-faire football date. The number 19 Turkeys are strutting around like they own the Coastal Division, but newsflash, there ain't no divisional play in this weird COVID-19 time we find ourselves in. Dave Clawson's clergyman will say a prayer that tailback Kenneth Walker III will run wild against the Wild Birds. However, the Blacksburg Defense Company will build a wall around the pulpit, allowing Tech to gobble up the Wake collection plate. The Generals victor, Virginia Tech. South Carolina at LSU. The Bayou Bengals had an unexpected Saturday off last week. So did the Bayou boys make good use of their time to shore up the defense, or lack thereof, and also to find a way for number 15 behind center to hit a moving target. The Roosters fly in from their capital city roost in South Kagalaki to the capital of Louisiana and Tiger Nation. Strange things happen in this series. Remember one of the best fake field goals for touchdowns in college football history by LSU's Colt David way back in 2007. Don't believe this cross-divisional matchup will create that kind of excitement in this Saturday night and Death Valley duel. The Generals victor, LSU. Nebraska at Ohio State. Them Yankee boys are back at it again starting this weekend. After declaring to not play, then having what we call in the gridiron business a false start, the Big Ten has suffered from ACC, Big 12, and SEC envy the last month. Now they're going to try and do something about it. The Neb and Scott Frost are frozen on the thought that NU is the same program that won Natties and Heismans. The corn doesn't have the same market value in this day of glitz, glamour, and TikTok, though. While the Nuts only have so many chances to get a good showing to the national pundits that despite a delayed start, the Ohio will be dotting another I in the college football playoff. No problems this day at the Horseshoe. The Generals victor, Ohio State. NC State at North Carolina. In this most unusual of seasons, one of the things we must adjust is the calendar in our brain. This in-state Research Triangle rivalry between Chapel Hill and Raleigh is usually the swan song on the football schedule. Now the Messy Feet and Rabid Dogs of Tobacco Road put on their scary mask a week before Halloween. Now that's scary. And for the first time since 1993, both programs are in the top 25 entering this game, and each has one hiccup on their itinerary when this high noon ESPN broadcast kicks. Devin Leary is out as Wolfpack QB for the next 6 weeks or so, and that will have a big impact on State's side of the scoreboard. Ramesses roars back this week in the friendly confines of Kenan Stadium. The Generals victor, North Carolina. Iowa State at Oklahoma State. The Spinning Storm circulates over to Pistol Pete's calf roping competition in a meetup of Big 12 frontrunners. This one is another one of Saturday's games pitting top 25 institutions. ISU is number 17. The Pokes are as high as 6 in some of the polls. Matt Campbell's Corn Country circulators have come a long way since Louisiana Lafayette embarrassed them in Week 1. They've already dispatched that other conference foe in the Sooner State, so a victory over the schizophrenic Stillwater Saddlemen shouldn't be a shocker. The Clone D will make Canadian bacon out of OSU tailback Chuba Hubbard. The Generals victor, Iowa State in an upset. Ahead on General Gridiron, when the sun rises Sunday morning, will the Little Brown Jug be in Minneapolis or in Ann Arbor? And one of the SEC storied rivalry games gets renewed this fourth Saturday in October. Alabama travels to Tennessee. Get them cigars ready, boys. We'll tell you all the winners, so keep it locked here on General Gridiron. Howdy, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the best radio stations the FCC has licensed. in Brundage, Alabama on WTBF FM 94.7, home of the Peanut Butter Festival and Nutter Butter Parade. And The River, KFYN FM 104.3 in Paris, Texas. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Michigan at Minnesota. The Little Brown Jug will be hoisted by one of these two on Big Ten Opening Day 2020. Often overlooked, the Michigan-Minnesota rivalry is one of the oldest and most played contests in college football, dating all the way back to 1892. As founding members of the conference, this will be their 104th meeting. Since the Big Ten is rather tardy to the college football party of this year, we truly don't have a lot to go with when trying to formulate a winner. Jimmy Harbaugh knows the pressure will mount if he doesn't have his varmint in the mix when nominees are selected for Indianapolis. And that pressure will increase when Goldie gets to sipping maize and blues portion of the Brown Jug. The Generals victor, Minnesota. Cincinnati at SMU. The American Athletic Conference's only two ranked teams do-si-do into Dallas. Peruna 9 will be ready to run wild Saturday when he realizes the Yankees intentionally forgot to bring him a nice bowl of that five-way chili. On the Gridiron, SMU will have more than 5 ways of dicing UC's defense, and the Ponies are 5-0 for the second consecutive season, a feat at last accomplished in the Pony Express era of 1983. Texas transfer Shane Buechele at QB and Danny Gray's receivers' hands will have the Methodists going together like spaghetti, chili, beans, onions, and cheese. The Generals victor, SMU. Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. For the first time in 71 meetings, these old foes face off at the giant ketchup bottle as conference brethren. After sneaking past Louisville last week, Ian's book dropped off the bestsellers list. If he and Coach Kelly want to fly off the newsstand again, this game presents an opportunity. Rock the Panther is going to flex his muscles for the number 3 Irish's arrival in the Steel City, but the blue and gold better throw down a few hundred energy drinks and loaded teas to beef up that metabolism. Even if that were to happen, Notre Dame ought to be able to outflex this competitor. The Generals victor, Notre Dame. Oklahoma at TCU. Lincoln Riley and the Schooner is back in the Metroplex, site of a big Red River shootout win for OU just 2 Saturdays back. Boomer Sooner, after a week off, remains unranked this week and sits at 2-2 as the Mule Train enters Hell's Half Acre. The pugnacious Purple Toads of Adran turn into Super Frog when the college football elite waltzes into Amon. Good news for the home side, Gary Patterson's visor should stay on straight most of this day, as the Oklahoma sharpshooter behind center will be off target and be a generous donor to Patterson and the Christians' defense. The Generals victor, TCU in a close one. Alabama at Tennessee. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. The third Saturday in October rivalry, held this year on the 4th Saturday of the month, provides cigar stores in the heart of Dixie and the Volunteer State a chance to reach sales levels seldom seen. If your team prevails, at game's conclusion, thousands of cigars get lit in a jubilant tradition dating all the way back to the 1950s. Pachyderm fans, you better have your stogie on standby. 2006 was the last year the Big Orange lit their own Swisher Sweets. Former Alabama defensive playmaker Jeremy Pruitt goes against his alma mater this year with a beer barrel loss to Kentucky fresh on his mind. On the other sideline, the man that overcame COVID-19 in just 24 hours will be testing positive this week. Posited the Tide will roll past Smoky for a 14th straight time. The Generals victor, light 'em up, Bama. We've already looked at the weekend's biggest battles across the nation, but hang on to your helmet, there's more around the corner. We'll be back in just a second to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid fire picks. This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now, it's time to fix bayonets and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Georgia Southern gives Coastal Carolina its first loss. Wyoming lassos Nevada. Marshall runs over Florida Atlantic. Auburn intercepts Mississippi. Navy navigates past Houston. Stephen F. Austin cuts down Abilene Christian. Kansas State kills Kansas. Central Arkansas claws Eastern Kentucky. Clemson embarrasses Syracuse. Louisville flies past Florida State. Maryland crawls out of its shell against Northwestern. Army outflanks the Mercer Bears. Memphis bests Temple. Texas gets a needed win versus Baylor. Liberty tops Southern Miss. UCF joust Tulane. Western Kentucky tops Chattanooga. Missouri shows Kentucky a bad time. Georgia State destroys Troy. And Miami gives the Virginia Cavalier a sunburnt behind. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this Week 8 edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, YouTube TV, and y'all.com, the ultimate guide to the South. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Just search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be part of your weekend. General Gridiron is a production of y'all.com. For more, log on to the ultimate guide to the South.
That'll be all, y'all.